What's up, y'all? Hey, we're back. JR over here and Toby D, pound for pound. Man, it's been a while.
It's been a minute. It's been a few minutes.
Boy, we haven't gotten together since, what, camp? When we went to camp?
Yeah, when we went to camp.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you have family and lives and work and, things of that nature. You can't always, make time to get together. But we try to make time definitely in the off season when there isn't so much going on as far as like covering every game and every bid, have a little easier time to make time in that aspect.
Well, I'm just going to tell you right now. I was going to talk about that Eagles game on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And when I put out that tweet saying I'm going to reserve my thoughts, one of the reasons why I wanted to do that was because I was waiting on this presser. And it did come up. And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And briefly touch on the Eagles game that I'm sure everybody has already heard about. What could have happened and what didn't happen.
And what should have happened or what shouldn't have happened, or who should have got touches and who shouldn't have got touches.
Right.
And what play call should have been made. I am utterly amazed at how many professional offensive coordinators and head coaches that are on Twitter. And I'm not talking about the ones that are employed by teams.
Right.
It's funny how all of us, and myself included, I will raise that flag and then say that I know better than these people who get paid mega bucks to do it. But it's always funny. Somebody used to say, "Was it hindsight's 20/20?"
Right.
I ain't never tried to call a play in the NFL, or let me break it down like this. I played Madden, okay, and in the 30 seconds that I have to try to choose a play in Madden, I freak out to where I can barely choose a play in Madden because I'm like, I need more time to figure out what I want to do.
Right.
So now you magnify that by, what, 1 million?
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it's like to be a coach. And that's an offensive coordinator. Obviously, we're talking about the embattled Steve Sarkisian, who's getting lambasted from front, right, and left, right, and center. But I couldn't imagine even being Marquand Manuel. I mean, the defense has played great this year and has stepped up the game, but still trying to make the right call. That's beyond me. But that's why I'm on this side of the camera and not being paid by the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, I'm actually glad I am on this side of the camera, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if you fans like some of us, and you don't do well, you already know what we're doing.
Yeah,
we want your head cut off.
We're gonna fire you. If you can't win, you can't do it. We want you gone.
Exactly.
I wanna take a poll on how many people still want Jim Chaney gone from the Bulldogs.
Right. Because that first year,
buddy, I saw torches and pitchforks.
It was questions
bad.
galore. We wanted his head, but he comes back with a rookie and he's killing it.
Right. So I'm not saying that there's going to be a 2015 to 2016 turnaround. But analogy that I used earlier today, and with a couple of friends, even talking to my wife, you have to ask yourself, would you have cut Vic Beasley after the first year? He posted 4 sacks.
Right.
Was not very effective. Would you have cut him after the first year? Most people say no. Would you have cut Keanu Neal after the first year?
No.
Statistically, he didn't have like some amazing out of the gate, year. He was solid. He was good. He did the things that you wanted to see, like the hard hitting and stuff like that made you excited.
Those 5 fumbles helped too, though.
Yeah. So, that's the point I'm making, is that we're so quick to label people busts and label people bums that I don't see how any team could ever win if they listen to their fans. Like any team. I mean, with the biggest difference that separates the evil empire, a.k.a. the Patriots, from everybody else, is they have been consistent. They've had a consistent head coach and consistent offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. Yes, I know they've had some that have come and gone, but they have kept the same system and the same guys for as long as they can. And that's, to me, the biggest difference that separates those guys from the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
Who changed their head coach and GM about like most people change their socks. So right now, the Falcons could potentially go the way of the Browns, of just start firing everybody because we didn't achieve what we wanted. Or we can try to build towards what the Patriots have in a consistency. And I think that may be the route they're trying to go, which would be nice.
Well, I can tell you this. Now, I know even though Kyle Shanahan, he's been in the NFL for a long time, been raised around it for a long time because of his dad.
Yeah, because of his daddy.
I guess the only real difference here that I can look at between him and Sark is a 5-point difference in this Eagle game.
True.
Because last season, in the regular season game, before the bye week, we only scored 15 points.
Yep.
But we also had a chance to win that game.
At the end.
And how about we repeat that again, this time with Steve Sarkisian?
So the question is, do we land-based our offense, or do we give Jim Schwartz and their defense a pat on the back and good job? Now, granted, I don't want to give nobody a good job today. You beat my team, so no good job for you. But I don't know. I've been reading the message boards, reading Twitter, and heck, somebody put out a tweet about, some people you'd want to trade. And I don't know how many people said trade Matt Ryan.
That always comes up every year.
Man, gonna have an MVP.
That never will change. He's going to get probably another 5-6 year deal.
Oh, easy, another.
And they're going to be saying that fire him every year.
Yeah.
But what they fail to realize about Matt Ryan, and I do apologize to the gentleman that asked me to talk about Matt Ryan and how I felt he was doing this year. Matt Ryan has had some pretty good successes since 2012 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think he's thrown a pick that I remember since then.
No.
And he's had one of the highest QBR in the playoffs. Yeah. Now, that is
a consistent 70% completion rating.
Exactly. So Matt is doing his thing right now.
I mean, I don't know what it is, if it's a love affair of, previous quarterbacks that we've had or whatever, or if it's the simple fact that Matt Ryan is such a company man. Like, that brings out this, he's not like he didn't have that fire or that whatever. No, I mean, I believe that get effing set t-shirt should have changed the idea of whether he has that fire or not. So, I mean, but like you said, you ain't never going to stop people saying that we needed to trade Matt Ryan. That's is what it is.
That's going to be a continuous conversation for as long as he is here. There's no changing that.
Nope. But I will say this. As far as that Eagles game, the biggest atrocity in that entire Eagles game, to me, wasn't the last series. The last series was bad, but it wasn't, like, atrocious. Had Julio not slipped, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
And so...
It's a touchdown that wasn't called a touchdown in New Orleans.
Right.
Because it's the same play.
So, if Julio doesn't slip, out of that whole series, the only inexcusable play was the shovel pass to Teron Ward. If you're going to do a shovel pass like that, an inside shovel pass, it needs to be to Tevin Coleman, Justin Hardy, or Taylor Gabriel. Somebody who has some wiggle.
Or we could have went and got Jason Snelling, who's had a lot of success in the shovel pass.
I mean, he was Mr.
Just pull him out of retirement.
Right,
just
he
for
was
that
Mr.
One
Shovel Pass, But the biggest atrocity to me was not feeding Tevin Coleman more. He had 5 touches in that game.
Right, in the same.
And they were 5 extremely effective touches. And you saw that Devontae didn't have that same explosiveness, that same move, which you come to find out he had a sprained MCL and ACL in his knee.
Right.
So why didn't we feed Tevin more? That's my only like real criticism offensively on that game. Is why didn't we feed Tevin Coleman the ball More.
Well, I guess we're bringing up more similarities between Kyle Shanahan and Sark because everybody could argue why didn't we feed Freeman more in the Super Bowl when we had over, about 70 yards in the first half?
Yeah. Right. And so...
Look, y'all, more similarities.
Hey. He's just like Shanahan. Oh.
It's more than we thought, see?
He's just a nice version. He's not an egotistical maniac. No, I'm just kidding. Shanahan's not a maniac. He is egotistical, though.
Yeah, that will.
The biggest, at the end of the day, the biggest thing that I can think of, or I can point to, every closing statement, closing press comment by the players, to a man other than Gabriel, to a man, every one of them resoundingly supported Sarkisian.
Right.
To Matt Ryan, to Julio Jones, to Devontae Freeman, gave a glowing report. And he had less yards this year than he's had the past few years.
Right.
So he gave a glowing report.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute,
right.
By the way.
And so the attitude towards Sark is much different than towards Shanahan. You really couldn't get very many good sound bites of our players talking good about Shanahan.
Right.
So to me, if the players are behind him, that means the players are going to be willing to work for him and fix whatever needs to be fixed.
And I agree.
So we'll see what happens.
I'm going to say this too. One of the things that I think out of this whole thing, the reason why I'm finally have calmed down from my stance.
Stepped off the ledge just
as
a little
of
bit.
Saturday night with wanting to fire Sark.
Okay, all right.
We miss having a third weapon in that passing game.
Yeah.
Austin Hooper hasn't quite turned out to be that player just yet.
Not yet.
And you can't just rely on Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu because once you take them out and there's an ineffective Taylor Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have to have that third piece that can threaten a defense.
Right. Which some would say we would have it in our backs.
Right. But we didn't use them.
No.
In that way as much.
Right.
Although when you go back and look at some of the stats for their passing, they did have kind of close to what they had as far as yards go in the receiving game.
It wasn't as far off as what people would like to think that it was.
Maybe not as many receptions as 2016, but they still were productive in that passing game.
Right, very true. Very true. And then, so we'll fast forward a little bit to the press conference.
Okay.
So, Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff had their press conference yesterday at 1. And, all right, I had to tackle the elephant in the room. The attitude was about fake as all get out.
I'm with you.
The attitude was, the aggressiveness was, I don't think the message was, if that makes any sense to anybody. I think they came out with the fire and brimstone to... You ever fought fire with a fire?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? So they knew what they were up against with the questions about Sarkisian and the offense. And
the fan base.
The fan base and everything else. So they figure if they come out mad and act all explicitive here, explicitive there, that maybe they can get people to back off just a little bit.
Right.
Okay, well, these guys are upset. Then something's going to change. And I believe something will change. I mean, honestly, for me, I didn't need the fire and brimstone to think that Dan Quinn was upset. I could show you a handful of clips from him standing on the sideline. He was upset.
Oh, yeah. The Eagles game, you saw it in his face.
Right, you saw it all over him. Yeah. So, do I think that Dan Quinn, he is very much the whole better never quits. I know you've heard him say that in clips and sound bites and things like that. But I believe that's the lifestyle he lives.
Right.
So regardless of how this season ended, even if we had ended with bringing home the Lombardi Trophy and Super Bowl rings, Dan Quinn would still be trying to figure out how to get better.
Right.
So, with that being said, I think the bluster and the, anger was very much a front. very much a trying to take the wind out of the reporter's sails.
Right.
And it kind of worked. I mean, he still had to answer questions about Sark and all this other stuff, but he probably steered those questions in a different avenue, in a different direction.
Listen, you could tell when you watch that. Like you said, is Dan Quinn disappointed that we're not talking about the NFC Championship right now? Of course he is, as well as us fans.
Right.
But one thing you can gather from him and Tom Dimitroff is what they're proud of is all the inconsistencies that we went through and the struggles that we went through, we still made the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, okay, look, you talk about changing 9 coaches on your coaching staff.
Right.
Bringing in a new offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Having a new defensive coordinator. Yes, Manuel was on the staff, but they ain't never called plays.
Promoting guys up in different positions.
New defensive coordinator, and you go 10-6 and make the playoffs.
Right.
Win a road playoff game.
Mm-hmm. Against a
number one
extremely offensive
team.
Scoring team.
Right. And then go up and battle the number 1 seed.
Right.
And don't embarrass yourself in the sense of getting blown out.
And at least it was the number 1 seed and not the 6th seed like what happened to us in 2010. And we were the number 1 seed.
Hello? Right, exactly. So there's a lot of things throughout the season that you can hang your hat on and that you can feel good about. Us as fans tend to want to be, especially Atlanta fans, want to be, pessimistic and headhunting all the time. But, the defense is a top 10 unit.
Yep. And we're actually going to go into the season that way.
Yeah. and as a top 10 unit,
mm-hmm.
you still have a very young core.
Yep.
You may lose. You got some decisions to make on the defensive line.
Right.
Which, we can get into that here in a minute. But you got some, decisions to make. But you're still young at the core of your unit.
Very.
So this should be a good defense going forward for a while. So you got that. You still have a quarterback in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
You have a number 1 all-world wide receiver in his prime. You have a running back in his prime, and then a general manager who didn't rule out the possibility of keeping that tandem together.
Yes, he should.
Which I like to hear. I like to hear that.
And he should be able to because the cap is going extremely up.
I mean, you're talking about what, $180 million this year is what I saw earlier this week. The potential of a $180 million cap, and you're going to restructure Matt Ryan this year.
Yeah.
Or you're going to sign him. Yeah. You're going to restructure his stuff, whether y'all like it or not. Matt Ryan's going to retire as a Falcon.
Yes, he is.
You don't find franchise quarterbacks growing on.
And I'm gonna tell you right now.
Hey there.
I'm glad about it, baby.
Hey there. See?
Yes, do he get on my nerves? Sometimes he does.
Of course.
But this man has shown up in the playoffs. You better go back and look at them stats in 2012.
That's it.
And he's actually winning playoff games with Dan Quinn. I think they like 3-2?
Yeah.
3-2. Including the Super Bowl?
That's it. So out of the 5 playoff games, they got a winning record.
Exactly.
So I ain't mad about it.
A winning record.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, right. The guy who can't do nothing. The guy who can't lead this team.
Right.
But, hey, whatever. So, back to the, some of the comments made at the press conference. Just give you some of the highlights. I'm sure by now y'all have all combed over it with as many people that have covered it and everything else. But one of the higher points coming out of it was obviously the Matt Ryan extension, which should create some flexibility, allow us to be able to do some things, make some moves. The other one was moving Beasley back to full-time defensive end.
Yes.
I know. Dan Quinn was wanting a Bruce Irvin.
Yeah.
And he was wanting Vic Beasley to be that Bruce Irvin. But I think throughout the season he realized that Devondre Campbell is that Bruce Irvin.
Yes.
Devondre Campbell can rush the passer, not consistently enough to be a defensive end, but he's a great blitzer. He's very athletic, good coverage, very intelligent. I think that if you were to make him that strong side linebacker, let him play that Bruce Irvin role. Then you got, Deion Jones, Pro Bowl Deion Jones, the middle linebacker. And you got a year under his belt on Duke Riley and whoever else they may draft or bring in for competition on the weak side. I see no reason why this cannot work.
Boy, speaking of Deion Jones, man.
Dude.
Who could have imagined, boy? This guy here.
One thing I'll say about Deion, the only knock I got on him, and we all knew it, is that defensive line has got to keep him clean.
They have to. Because he's small.
Right.
Yeah.
But his intelligence, diagnose. Oh my God.
Yes.
Like if you're watching the defense, if you want to know where the ball is, just follow Deion Jones.
Yeah. He gonna
lock on number 45, and he will take you to the ball.
Man, it just gets more and more exciting knowing he's going into his third season with all that intelligence so early in the game.
Yeah. Come on.
And you got to give the man Jeff Albrecht a lot of credit for that.
Dude, yes.
Who, if you consider it, yes, it's been some years, he's still not that far removed from the NFL.
No. No. I mean, we've got some really good defensive coaches. And the only problem I see there is that in a few years, we may not have so many because they're going to get poached.
Marquand Manuel, I believe after this season, if we stay where we are in top 10 and move up, he's gone.
I don't know about gone, but he's going to start getting mentioned.
Yeah.
He's going to start getting mentioned as he should be mentioned.
Yeah.
As he should be starting to get, moved around in those circles because, I mean, he's done a masterful job.
Exceptional job.
Yes, with this defense.
Minus the lack of turnovers at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, they started to bring it on at the end.
But they were still... They had a lot of mistakes. But as time went on, I think a lot of the reason for those mistakes was because some of the scheme did change.
True.
From what Richard Smith had to what he did. Because even Dan Quinn said it in the offseason. And you heard all the defensive coordinators that he ran down. Dick LeBeau, and the other guys that he ran a list down of things that they've done over the years that he's learned he wanted to incorporate. And even Dan came out and said before this divisional game, there was new things that they added as far as the coverages go.
Exactly.
In the secondary. And we're going to start, I believe, seeing that come to a quicker fruition than what it did leading toward the end of the season when we finally saw some things materialize with how they capitalized on Carolina Panthers.
Exactly. I thought the Carolina Panthers game and then the Rams game the week after was probably one of the most complete back-to-back games we'd had all season.
Right.
Which was enough to give us hope going into the Philly game. Now, that bye week that Philly had can do one of two things. It can truly refreshen you, or it can make you rusty. I think it truly refreshed them and gave them time to figure out things that Foles was comfortable with.
Right.
The RPO that they absolutely killed us with.
Oh, they were wearing us out.
Right. So they found what he was comfortable with and went with it.
Right.
Understandable. Hats off to Philly on that one. But I will say this, what made the weekend salvageable was the Saints lost. Yeah. In dramatic fashion.
Oh, yeah.
That was...
10-second dramatic fashion.
That did my heart good. That couldn't have happened to a better coach. Mr. Skull chant. Sorry, I'm not going to get off on that rant today, but good. Thank you, Vikings.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
And hey, look. Y'all going to win that thing because nobody wants to see New England get it other than their fans.
Exactly, yeah, right.
If y'all can make it past the Eagles, which I believe you can.
I think you can. So we covered the press conference. Talked about the Phillies game. I guess maybe we ought to touch on some things that we expect to see in the offseason.
Well, let me say this first. Now, Desmond Truman may not ever watch this, but I do have a message for you, Desmond. As good as you are, you have had some hiccups this season.
True.
And I just want to say, I do not want the spirit of Dan Ugler on you, okay? Because we know what happened when Dan Ugler got that big contract. He admitted he couldn't live up to it. It was just too much pressure. You should have no reason to be overwhelmed with the money that we gave you. Okay, yeah. I'm saying it like we gave you the money. We didn't give you the money. But
I ain't got no money.
Nonetheless, do you and play ball the way you used to. All right? I hate the rhyme now. Sound like Jesse Jackson, but I need you to come back, man. Okay? You deserve the money. Now take the pressure off yourself and come out and do your thing when the season starts up again. That's all I got to say.
All right. The only caveat I'll put on that is he did miss half a season.
Well,
and knock a little rust off. And you don't always trust your body year after an injury.
I'll give him that.
That's all I'll say.
All right, I'll give him that. I just don't want that Dan Ugly spirit on him. That's all I'm saying.
He ain't got no Dan Ugly
he did that when he was here with Dan Ugly. Did that with the Braves. I'm just saying.
I understand, but that's
he was good when he was playing with the other team. I'm just saying.
That's the baseball guaranteed money, like fully guaranteed money. Football not so fully guaranteed. So, anyway,
but he did get a nice chunk though.
I understand he got a nice chunk. But have faith in the man is all I'm trying to say.
No, I believe in him. Okay. I just want him, don't let the pressure of the money get him. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm just saying. Don't let the pressure of the money get you. You good. I need you to come back though. Don't blow no more of these coverages now. I'm just saying. And you saw it. Don't act like you didn't see it now.
Look, I tried not to.
I don't want to call out nothing. I'm just I'm gonna leave it alone.
I tried
but
not to.
But if you force my hand, I'm gonna have to call out some of these things now. I'm gonna leave it alone.
I tried not to see it, but I saw it.
All right, we can keep it rolling.
I said it, I saw it. Okay.
We can keep rolling, man. I'm gonna do my man like that. Ain't gonna do him like that. Not this time either.
Speaking of comeback and money, how about the big man, Don Terry Pope? What's your gut reaction? Should we bring him back? Now,
for how much? $5 million? I'm all for that.
I could do $5. You think he'd take $5?
Yeah.
You think he would?
Oh, I don't know if he'll take it. I had to process your question right there, but
yeah,
I would love to give it to him. He would.
That's the big question: is what is he willing to take? What does he think his value is? He took that $8 million a year or $8 million contract as a prove it deal. Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure.
Did he prove it?
He proved he's a very good rotational player. But do you play a rotational player? How many sacks did he have?
One? About 2.5?
2.5?
Oh, 2.5?
He probably accidentally fell on somebody, didn't he?
Yeah, he might have.
Okay, so 1. I'm going to say 1. I know he probably got 2.5.
You know what? He did have the one that was all his.
Oh, like he blasted through.
Yeah.
And got, so 1.
I can't remember who it was against.
It
was in Carolina.
Yes. Yeah,
he blasted through there.
Right, got Cam Newton.
Yes.
So 1.
Okay.
Now, he's probably got 2.5, but
I think he shared a sack with Grady Jarrett.
Right, fell on somebody.
Yeah.
Right, okay. If he wants more than $6-7 million, I can't see it. I can't see it. Not with, being able to get younger talent at a cheaper rate in the draft.
Right.
I mean, there's a handful of prospects that would be there or should be there when we pick in the first round. And I'm pretty sure Dan Quinn's going to pick a defensive player in the first round.
Let me ask you this. Did you see much difference between him and Otava Rubin?
Not really. I'd rather pay Rubin.
My point exactly.
I'd rather pay Rubin $4 or $5 million, $3-4 million to come back and draft some young guy to come in. Maybe even draft a couple young guys.
Yeah.
You think we bring back Claiborne?
I would love to.
I'd love to.
But here's the only thing about that. Do you need to bring back Claiborne? You got Jack Crawford who's going to be back.
True.
And Tack McKinley. Oh, Tack McKinley is doing his thing right now.
My Tack attack.
But
yeah, he's going to be a force.
That guy.
He's going to be a force.
Embodies the type of attitude that Dan Quinn looks for on the defense.
Yep. He's going to be a force.
Yes.
And I think as he gets revved up, that's going to allow Vic Beasley to be more effective.
And he's going to make Vic Beasley up his game.
Yep. He's going to have to.
He already beat Vic Beasley and Ricky Sacks.
So, because look at it like this. You got a Tack on a 1 year, or he's on his rookie contract still, right?
Yep.
Beasley, he's going into his 4th year.
Yep.
So technically it's his last year. But they have a 5th year option.
Right.
Which is be a cheaper option to pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 2 years at least with Vic and Tack together.
Yep.
And if Vic wants to get paid, he's going to have to keep pace.
Yes. Yes.
He's going to have to show he's just as effective.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Yep.
So that's something to look at and keep an eye on as we go forward. So if he's priced right, and that's probably going to be the case of all free agents, but if he's priced right, you think we bring back Claiborne?
That's tough, man. That's tough. I
He's your most consistent, but he also kind of disappears at times.
I know it, but when you start thinking about Pat McKinney,
he can do what Claiborne does.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying.
So all right, so that's some of the free agent questions. What about Brooks Reed? Do you cut Brooks Reed? This is the year his contract gets kind of hefty.
And Brooks Reed arguably had one of his better years as a Falcon.
Right. I mean, I ain't never been upset with Brooks Reed.
But he disappeared later on in the season.
He did. I mean, Brooks Reed is a edge-setting defensive end.
Yeah.
He's not a pass rusher. He'll get him a sack every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
He'll luck into one. He's Croy Bierman 2.0.
Yeah.
Like, he's the upgraded version of Croy Bierman.
Yeah, I do agree.
But is it worth the cap hit or the
No,
money?
Not in my opinion. It's not. And there's going to be, talking about this now, it's going to be a lot of decisions to have to be made. And I think this might be, I've heard Dan and Thomas say that one year they had the toughest decisions they've ever had with the roster since they've got in 2016.
Yeah.
I think this year is going to be even tougher.
It's going to be
now
pretty
that we're
tough.
talking about this out in the open like that, I think it's going to be tough, man.
It is going to be a tough decision because you got, big cap hit on Levitri coming up. So do you restructure him or do you cut him? You got a big, cap hit coming for Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you restructure or do you cut him? You got Dontari Poe. Do you re-sign him?
Yeah.
Do you re-sign Upshaw?
No. I'm just saying, off first glance.
I think
Upshaw, he got. What's the word? He got cast in the shadows, so to speak. I didn't even really know he was still on the team. To be honest with you.
Then you got. Is Shelby? Is he still under contract for another year?
Yes.
Okay, so you got Shelby and Crawford coming back.
Shelby actually played well.
No, he played good. He did what I figured he was going to do.
Right.
He's another good edge setting, run stuffing defensive end.
Right.
I don't even know if he got a sack this year.
I don't remember if he did or not.
But he'll luck into a sack every now and again. But he's an edge setter. In a base defense. So you got that guy, Ricardo Allen.
That's the one I wanted to get to.
Do you bring back Ricardo Allen?
He's a restricted free agent. So if I know that right, that means you would have to give up whatever his tender is.
Well, that was last year. He signed a tender.
Well, remember now, Tom Dimitrov just said that he is a restricted free agent. So that would mean
okay. Well, if
you
he's
got to give up
restricted,
something.
If he's restricted, it depends on what tender they put on him.
Right. See,
if they put a second or first round tender on him, that means they have to pay him X amount of money.
Right.
So.
And somebody's got to give us a pick.
Yeah.
So Thomas made sure to put that out there. That he not only did he put it out there that he's a restricted free agent, he told the beat writers to do your research on it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So
I don't know what all that was about, but.
I think I'd seen it being reported that he was a free agent.
Okay.
I think I remember reading somewhere that had him listed as one of our free agents that were going to hit the
he can't hit
market.
He can hit the mark,
but not the open market.
But somebody got to give up something.
Right, somebody got to pay. So that's the biggest names I can think of.
This is going to be an interesting offseason.
You're right. I mean, there's going to be no lack of content.
I'm going to tell you what I don't want to see. I don't want to see any of our guys because Tampa Bay, they like to pluck our guys. I don't want to see none of them guys down there in Tampa Bay.
No, I ain't trying to create.
I don't want to see nobody in New Orleans, and I sure don't want to see nobody in Carolina.
Can I add the Patriots to that list? I don't want to see
you go ahead, but see, we don't really give up players to the Patriots like that.
No, I mean they take.
But New Orleans and Tampa Bay does.
Oh yeah.
And Carolina does too.
Tony Ely. Then he got traded to somebody else.
Cooks.
Yeah, Brandon Cook. Come on.
I mean, you helping.
The evil empire. Why are you helping?
Right.
Y'all ain't got no sense. Ain't got no integrity. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I ain't questioning nobody's integrity. That was a joke. All right. So that was a little bit of a free agent primer. Going into the things that we have, to look forward to. You got the Shrine game this weekend.
Yep.
If you're so inclined.
I'm watching it. I watch it every year.
Yeah. I'll be watching
Eric
it.
Salbert was in there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And remember old Passignon?
Yeah.
Passignon. Anyway, we didn't get him, but did a whole piece on that dude.
I know it, man.
He went to the Chiefs, I think. Anyway, so you got that Shrine game this weekend. The Combine coming up. Then
Senior Bowl coming up next week.
Yeah, so it goes the Shrine game, Senior Bowl, then the Combine.
Yep.
And then you have the draft.
Yeah.
Well, free agency, then the draft.
Then the draft.
And then we'll get to do this all over again. Going, oh, good. We're going to be so good this year.
Boy, but what we've been talking about, boy, it's going to be some serious things going on. I'm like, whoa.
It's going to be interesting.
I didn't even think about it like that until we started talking about it. I knew Adrian Claiborne was going to be a free agent.
Yeah.
But it didn't hit me until like, whoa, him, Dante Poe.
Dante Poe, Courtney Upshaw, Tyus Rubin. I mean,
Taylor Gabriel.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think Gabriel's gone to San Francisco.
Yeah, I think he's gone, period, because he got basically wiped off the script, so to speak. I mean, and I don't know. Julio made a comment back in the offseason.
Okay.
And he was saying basically, this is a tight brotherhood, and we know when you are not really doing what it is you're supposed to do, and you say you're hurt, and you could actually be practicing. And I don't know if he was throwing that at Taylor Gabriel, who didn't do anything most of the offseason, which could be a reason why he wasn't an all-time favorite in the playbook. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. And Julio, you don't really mention names, but he throws out a lot of hints.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire.
I'm just saying.
Could be. Like I said, I think Gabriel's gone, which could lead them to drafting a young wide receiver. Or could, maybe finally, eventually, Hardy step up to the number 3? Maybe? I'm not. No?
Look, I like Hardy, man.
I do too, man.
But I'm not buying it. I'm not. I mean, Hardy to me, man, great special teams player. Great special teams player. And he does catch some balls. But as that third guy, that third weapon,
no,
I don't see it, man. Yeah. We need somebody.
It would have happened this year.
Right, it would have happened.
With Gabriel going out or sliding down, Hardy would have filled that void if he was going to.
If Julio Jones and Sanu was able to go into a machine and make a player, that player needs to be something like those two together. Yeah. That's that third weapon. That's just in my opinion. Because like I said, for most of the season, we didn't have that third dominant guy. Now, Austin Hooper had more yards than he had last season. But were they effective yards? Were they yards that made a defensive player say, I got to worry about him?
I worry about this guy?
No.
Yeah, not really.
The ball was taken from him twice.
Yeah, taken out.
Like bullied from him 2 times this season. And
hey, maybe Salford steps up.
When he going to step up?
I don't know. I said maybe. Why you got to bust me out like that?
Hey, one thing I give him credit for, he has a beautiful girlfriend that works at ESPN.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
But I don't know about the football skills
just
yet.
Got that going. Well, they signed that rugby player tight end guy to a future deal.
Yeah, well, they did.
Alex Gray.
Yeah, well, we'll see what he's all about. Maybe he'll develop into something. Oh. Or maybe we're drafting one.
Or maybe we'll sign Jimmy Graham.
Oh, boy, we get Jimmy Graham. Oh man, that Cause then when did we get Tony Gonzalez? He was in his 30s, wasn't he, when we got him?
Yeah, he was on the back end of his career.
Oh yeah, boy, we can get Jimmy Graham. That would be the third piece we need right there.
I wonder if they can make it work, money wise. That would be interesting.
I bet you Matt Ryan would be all for it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
6'8".
Yeah.
He would love to play with Matt Ryan. I'm sorry. Now I know he played with Drew.
Oh yeah. But he got ran out of New Orleans.
Yes, he got ran out, and he would love nothing more
you think
than to stick it to him.
Yeah, keep playing with old Russell Wilson.
If the money's right,
I mean, money. Yeah.
He had arguably one of his best seasons.
True.
With Seattle.
Yeah, true.
Boy, that's on my wish list. If we're able to get, boy, you talking about somebody that can hurt somebody down the seam and in the red zone?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, boy.
Yeah, that would be.
That would put this offense right where we need them to be. As basic as it is, you would definitely be able to do some things.
Oh yeah.
With Jimmy Graham, because he's a threat right off the rip.
All about it.
So I mean, unless you got something else,
I got no other topics. You got a topic?
I'm good.
I'm out of topics.
Yeah, I'm good.
All topicked out. All right, guys. Well, we'll go wrap this up. Keep your eyes posted to the channel for mock drafts, free agent previews, just general opinions. Going across the probably won't be as frequent. We'll try to put out something, once or twice a month leading up. I'm going to start getting revved up on my draft stuff here after the, Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Kind of see who emerges out of that. I've already been, doing my regular preview of mock drafts from different sites to kind of see who these experts have pegged here and there. So look for that to start showing up on the channel. And I'm sure Toby will probably do the more interesting think pieces that he likes to do.
Yeah, I'll be coming through with some things.
Yeah.
It's the off season now, so hey, this is when, like I said, it doesn't matter what season it is or off season. I can still find things to talk about with the Falcons.
So there it is. We'll catch up with y'all, and as always, fans, rise up.
Rise up.